Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Harakhakwadash, saying double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So the Lord says several times throughout the scriptures that before he brings the judgment, it's highly advised that his elect will choose to seek him early. And a few times the Lord refers using that word early as an example to illustrate that really like at the crack of dawn, basically like first thing, you should have your mind set on coming back to the Lord before the noonday, or you could say the heat, because the peak hours or the peak sun is usually around noon or like 2ish o'clock, depending on where you're at. When it hits that peak, and that heat can represent, that sun or that heat represents persecution or evil times. So seeking him early, that's what we strive for. And because what you find out is once you wake up to you in this truth, guess what? You got you're behind on time. You gotta get back to the scriptures ASAP. And that's really all of us. The moment we are born, first order of business, we supposed to go back, and we need to go back to the ancient ways, and we need to go back to the ancient customs, and we need to seek our Lord again. That's right away. So like it's used 4 times, well, in the Old Testament, like Proverbs 1:28, referring to those who mock at reproof. It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Right? Because and that's talking about when those who mock and scoff at the truth, who think that when we go out, we're just a bunch of racists, nothing we say has any value, the things that we prophesy are at times are very far off, or it's not going to come to pass. Those who mock at the Lord's mercy, because it's really all the Lord's mercy, all of this is. Because, I watch, the TikTok videos, the compilations on YouTube that people put together. And I listen to them. I like to listen to it because, one, myself, I'm poor. So I like to listen to the other poor folk and, just listen to their discussions, right? You always got to resonate with the poor. But, what you find out is, and, a lot of Jake has some useful knowledge as well. But, pretty much the people out there, they're looking for answers. And they're using TikTok like as a community to get some answers and say, okay, so guys, so what are we doing? What are we doing with this? What are we doing with that? How should we move with this? How should we move with that? So, people looking for answers. And the Lord took the time to give that answer to those who believe in his word. The people in the world are looking for a way how to function. They're trying to figure out the best way to manage in this life. And the Lord gave that knowledge to his elect, to the believers. He told us how to live, right? He gave us the secrets. He didn't have to do that. He could have just left us in the dark. He told us the way to live. He said to be as a pilgrim on the earth. He said, listen, when you go out and about, look at everything as temporal. Don't look at anything as permanent. Use the world for your benefit, and then don't expect any long-term returns or anything like that. Be ready to drop it all as well, because you got to be able to move. So don't have any connections with this place. Be ready at the drop of the dime to move. Don't harp on things that are you can't keep. Understand everything basically has a time limit. That type of whole mindset, that's salvation. Because the people in the world, that's what they're trying to figure out. Why do you think, like I said, they go into the internet and they're getting concerned because, say, like, they get laid off because they were working for the federal government, or they get or anything like that. What do they do? They start to panic because they're like, well, what are we doing? What's the game plan? And it's primarily women that's affected by that. And that's why the Lord said that they was going to be in a bad position, because, honestly, they're not supposed to. Our women, you're really not supposed to be by yourself out there making all these tough decisions in this evil world that we live in. That's why the scriptures refer to it as Jacob's trouble because there's going to be a time of trouble. And being by yourself just makes it even much more harder. So that knowledge that the Lord gave us is to save our own lives. So you're supposed to seek him early. As Hosea, well, let's just read them, right? This is Proverbs 8:17 regarding wisdom. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. And it's talking about Yahushua, because Yahushua is the first spirit created. So you want to seek him early, right? Isaiah 26:9. With my soul have I desired thee in the night, yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. Exactly. So, that's why the new covenant, the Lord's going to put the law, statutes, commandments in our inward parts. You're really supposed to be born with the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Once you're born, right? I mean, that's going to happen in the kingdom. But the moment you wake up to the fact that you're Israelite, or you really, ideally, right, as soon as you get born, first and foremost, you need to go back to the Lord, right away. You need to go seek him, because that's what we need. He's our Lord, he's our Savior, he's our Father. It's not like okay, well, when I turn 15, then I can seek the Lord, or when I turn 20, or when I get this established in my life, and then I can turn to the Lord. No, that's the mindset of the people in the world, man. The Lord said he's going to take pleasure in those who seek him early, meaning once you grab hold of the truth, you're if anything, you're mad because you didn't know that you were born. You felt like you finally, and you're rejoicing because you finally found that missing piece of the puzzle that subconsciously you knew that was there. You just couldn't put your finger on it and what it was. And once you heard the truth, you latched onto it and you never let it go. That's who the Lord is looking for. Those who take his words seriously, not like the others who look at this as just a means to only benefit them. And they'll make time. The scriptures has to be on the back end. And when I'm good and ready, I'll make time for it to squeeze in my life. No, they don't understand or appreciate the value of what's written. Hosea 5:15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. Exactly, and that's the elect. Because there's nothing wrong with wanting that. First of all, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's nothing wrong with wanting to learn why this is and why is that, or why is this happening to you. And which is actually what you're supposed to be asking. Because in doing so, you seek answers, and in your seeking answers, you'll find the truth. And we here, the Israelites, we here to give you all those answers. We here to give it to you for free. We here to answer everything. And we're giving you the words of the Lord. A lot of you want the words of man. You want a man to give you his advice and his knowledge to you. You should want the answers from the Lord. Our people has been lied to enough by way of the Christian church and the Christian pastors and these false shepherds. You've been lied to enough. Now you just need to get the truth. And we're going to give you the truth, the unadulterated, unfiltered truth through the scriptures. We don't have any hidden motives. We don't want your money. We don't want your women. We don't want to use you or anything like that. We simply find the value of this gift that was given to us for free, and we're sharing it as well. Because we were lost at one point, then we were found, and we know that there are others who were lost, and we want them to also find sanctuary and refuge in this word as well, this truth, because this is what's going to save you. I'm going to look up that word there, early, seek me early, shachar. Yeah, to seek early or earnestly, diligently, man. B times, meaning before the times, really the evil times. It says a primitive root properly at dawn. Yeah, so first thing in the morning, right? Figuratively, be up early at any task with the implication of earnestness. By extension, to search for with painstaking. Do something B times, inquire early, rise, seek B times, seek diligently early, in the morning. And this is the time where you need to be seeking him. This is where your salvation is. Because the evil times are ahead, and you want this knowledge and this understanding ASAP. You want it now. You know? As Ecclesiastes chapter 12 says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So don't think because the world isn't completely at an end yet that you don't have any value in seeking the Lord. No, you're supposed to seek the Lord. You're supposed to seek him really from birth. But you want to remember him in thy youth, and that can just mean when you like at your peak, when you got a lot going on, things looking up for you, you still supposed to seek the Lord B times. Don't think, you're not supposed to look at the Lord as just as an avenue, as an out when things get rough. No, man. It says this is before the evil days. Verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail. Because a man goeth to his long home, and mourners go about the streets. Or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern. All of those symbolize evil times. And Yahweh Shai is going to be your foundation, because the evil times are near. The time of uncertainty, this is that time. And according to the scriptures, what is certain is the times of uncertainty. Or you could say uncertainty is certain. So you want to seek the Lord early. Not when I make time. No, you're supposed to be seeking him diligently. B times, right away. Because the evil times are around the corner, and you don't know when it can happen. Yahweh holds the keys. Yahweh Shai, all power and authority is given to Yahweh Shai. But the day and that hour that's given the Most High, Yahweh only knows that. So whenever the Most High calls for the prophecy to happen, or this to change, or your whole world to be turned upside down, he make it happen. And you're saying, just like our people subconsciously are saying, okay, how do we prepare for these events? Well, the Lord is telling you. The Lord telling us how. And really, it's all about just going back to the basics. The basics are so important. And it's the simple things that's going to get you saved, such as the fear of the Lord. I can read that real quick as Sirach 19, verse 18. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. You understand? Doctrine is a teaching. So you're supposed to seek the Lord early, right? Because when you're born again, you're like a newborn babe. You're desiring the sincere milk of the word. That's why it says to desire the sincere milk of the word. You're begging for it. Just like a baby when they cry out, they got their hands stretched out when they want some milk. They're crying for their mother to nurse them. They need it, they want it, so that they can develop. That's how you should be. It says, is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. The fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law, and the knowledge of his omnipotency. So that's first thing first. It's all about the basics. The scriptures tell you that how do you prepare for the evil days? You really just go back to the basics. Living a simple simple life. Let's see. First Thessalonians 4, verse 9. This is Paul speaking. It says, "But as touching brotherly love, you need not that I write unto you, for you yourselves are taught of Yahweh to love one another. And indeed ye do it toward all the brethren which are in Macedonia. But we beseech you, brethren, that ye increase more and more, and that ye study to be quiet, and to do your own business, and to work with your own hands, as we commanded you, that ye may walk honestly toward them that are without, that ye may have lack of nothing." And study to be quiet, meaning you're not trying to do the most. Just like if you read that in New King James, it says, "And that you aspire to lead a quiet life, to mind your own business, and work with your own hands, as we commanded you." NLT, "Make it your goal to live a quiet life, minding your own business and working with your own hands, as we instructed you before." So you do the things that was taught, such as brotherly love, handle your business, and you strive for a quiet life, meaning you're just doing simple things. You're not trying to do more. The more you have going on in this life, the more problems you're gonna have. So really, the less you have going on, the better you are. That's just the truth. Look at the evil times. You see that the times of evil, right? The less you have, the more free you are. And that's exactly how it is in this society right now. Truthfully, the closer you have to nothing, the more free you are. The more you have, the more of a burden you are. The more of a burden, you should say, more liabilities you have. Because you can never truly own anything in a society. And you tend to become a slave to your own possessions. And like I said, you don't know what evils can occur in the future. So what's the best way to be prepared? The best preparation is spiritual preparation, not stocking up on a shit ton of eggs and food and all this stuff, because all of that doesn't mean anything if you don't have a level mindset, if you're not going to have a level head. Part of the people, because I had a lesson prepared for that too, part of the reason why primarily these Edomites are prepping so hard is because they're moved with fear of the unknown. And they believe that having bunkers worth of food is going to bring them that mental stability in that day. But they don't even know their own mindset, how it's going to be when that evil times come, because they're not preparing spiritually. It's being a level head, and it's what's going to keep you sane, the head on your shoulders. Like I said, you watching these TikTok videos, you see a lot of them are just panicking because they don't know where else to go. They don't have the instruction, the guidance. Most of them thought working for the government means they're the most secure. So they decided to work for the government in the first place because they're thinking about their future, and they got children and they got kids, and they're in the military, and they're doing this, and they're trying to figure out the safest route. But then they waking up like, well, damn, if this ain't secure, then what are we doing, people? What's the plan? So you see a lot of people are searching for this understanding subconsciously. And the Lord gave it to his believers. He gave it to you. That's treasure. That's true treasure. The mindset on how to live, as he explained, like a pilgrim. That's salvation, man. Using the world, not abusing it. They that have wives be as though they had none, and they that have none as the widowers. They that sow as if they will not reap. They that build houses as if they will not dwell therein. They that have merchandise as if they will reap no profit by it. They that sell as if they won't retrieve again. That's a mindset of you moving and be willing to accept whatever hell comes your way, because in the midst of the evil times, you got to be adaptable like water. So the Lord is teaching us how to be like that. And you're going to find out that that's what's going to get you saved, because now you want this place to fall. And those who aren't equipped with that mindset will look at you as if you're crazy. Why would you want things to fall? Aren't you worried about this? Aren't you worried about that? And you say, no, I ain't worried about that. Why don't? Because the Lord he gave you the knowledge how to prepare yourself. spiritually, mentally. The Lord is a very merciful power. He didn't have to tell us anything, and we'll just be out here just as lost and confused, worried about what next week looks like, what about what next month looks like for the nation, for the country. But he gave it to his believers. It's the simple things. It's the basic things, you know? And all it takes is some adversity for you to see that the creatures are going to resort back to their natural state, the natural way of things. That's why in the end, Isaiah 4:1 is going to have the woman what? Go back to her natural role, which is to be a wife, under the subjection of a man and under his guidance. These women out here that's catching all this hell, they're panicking because they're making all these decisions by themselves, which they weren't created to do that. They're not supposed to be doing that. They're supposed to have some help, just like the women in my family, all struggling. Why? They got no man. Because they don't have the understanding, and it's just hard in general. Because this is just me personally, but I think like I said, I may be incorrect, but heck, I think that every single woman in America, in some way, is getting some type of aid from the government, some way, some type of check, some type of discount, something. As a man, I don't get that. But I think a woman's getting some type of help in some way, which means that the moment that stuff is in jeopardy, that falls on her responsibility. And they start to panic. They don't know what to do. See? But I find salvation in just knowing that this whole place is going to fall, and that the Lord equipped us with the mentality of just being ready. You know the phrase, right? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And the ready is all mental. Why? Because we seek the Lord early, ASAP, right away, in the scriptures, all day, meditating on the law, meditating on the scriptures. Sirach 18:23, it says, before thou prayest, prepare thyself, and be not as one that tempteth the Lord. Think upon the wrath that shall be at the end, and the time of vengeance, when he shall turn away his face. That's what your mindset should be. If you're praying for anything, it's so that you could be really prepared for the evil times that's coming when he turns his face, so that you can be level-headed. You're supposed to seek him early. You do that now. That's the salvation, because those who mock, as we read in Proverbs 1, when that happened, then they're going to want to try to seek the Lord, but it's going to be too late. This knowledge, this wealth that we have, this truth, they're going to seek it in the end, but it's going to be too late for most of them. So don't waste time. Don't use this time as to just, mess around. Understand time is short. And you don't know what the Lord has in store next. He gave us the prophecy. We're like divine forecasters. We can see it, but we just can't pinpoint when and exactly. So best thing to do is just to stay prepared, stay ready. Seek the Lord now while you have the time. That's salvation, man. All right? Shalom.